The opening of the parenthesis. For 5 centuries, we have lived within an exception, the Gutenberg parenthesis. The era began in 1454 when Johannes Gutenberg used movable type to print the Bible in Mainz, Germany. According to the author, Jeff Jarvis, this was a 5-century-long age of print that gave rise to a specific worldview shaped by the completeness, permanence, materiality, and authority of the printed word. Before this parenthesis opened, human culture was oral and conversational. Information was passed mouth to mouth and changed as it traveled. But with print, ideas were set in stone, or at least in lead. As Jarvis observes, we are only now, about a quarter century into the popular internet, beginning to step outside this era and into a future that looks remarkably like the conversational past. The industrialization of the mass. The parenthesis didn't just change how we read, it changed who we were. In the 1800s, the mechanization of print through steam-powered presses and the linotype created a mass media business model. Jarvis argues this was the birth of a myth, the insult of the idea of the mass. As Jarvis said, quote, "I despise the idea of the mass because it is a way to not listen to people and not understand them as communities and individuals," unquote. In this industrial age, media became a one-way street. Journalists forgot how to listen, and institutions like the New York Times grew accustomed to setting the agenda without being talked back to. This era prioritized a shared national viewpoint that Jarvis argues was often an illusion, serving old white men while excluding diverse voices. The closing parenthesis and the new Reformation. As the parenthesis closes, we are returning to a society built on conversation. Jarvis suggests that the Internet's emancipation of the individual allows underrepresented communities to finally speak and act. He likens movements like Black Lives Matter to a racial reformation, while viewing events like January 6th as a counter-reformation by those who resent this shift in power. In this new landscape, political roles have inverted. Jarvis asserts that conservatives no longer conserve but seek to destroy institutions, while progressives find themselves in the position of protecting them. We are witnessing the, quote, death throes, unquote, of mass media as they struggle to recapture their lost influence. But Jarvis is clear: we should not mourn. We should celebrate the cacophony that is democracy. Connecting to Foucault, Technologies of the Self. To understand this shift on another level, we can turn to philosopher Michel Foucault, and particularly his 1982 lecture, Technologies of the Self. Foucault identified 4 types of technologies that humans use to understand themselves: production, sign systems, power, and the self. For centuries, mass media functioned primarily as a technology of power or domination, objectifying the individual into a mass to be controlled. However, as we exit the Gutenberg parenthesis, we are moving toward what Foucault calls technologies of the self. These are practices that permit individuals to effect, by their own means, a certain number of operations on their own bodies and souls to transform themselves. Foucault noted a historical shift from the Greco-Roman principle of take care of yourself to the Christian and modern obsession with know yourself. In the Christian tradition, knowing oneself was tied to self-renunciation, using confession and verbalization to break away from one's past identity. Jarvis's vision of the post-print world aligns with Foucault's concept of governmentality, the contact point between the technologies of domination of others and those of the self. While old mass media used verbalization to enforce conformity, the digital age allows us to use these same techniques, writing, blogging, and social media, to positively constitute a new self without renouncing who we are. We are relearning how to hold a conversation with ourselves and each other. By moving past the permanence of print, we are reclaiming the active leisure of the self, using our new digital tools not just to receive information, but as a constant writing activity to examine, reactivate, and transform our own truths. The parenthesis is closing, but the conversation is just beginning.